and you're today visiting the 23rd Annual Salem Maritime Festival. It's been going on, I think, since 1988. It's to celebrate basically everything maritime. Salem in the 1620s, 1630s helped to establish an economy, a New England economy, based on the fish that came here out of Salem and the fisheries. And that eventually led into Salem's wealth, which is represented by ships like Friendship. We've got all kinds of music playing here today. We've got dozens of craftspeople. We've got a children's tent, canoes, kayaks, a Coast Guard boat here, all kinds of things to visit. There's radio-controlled boats, farmers market, everything's here for the day.
Basically, what we have here is a modern reproduction of actually the same type of scales that you can find in the scale house here in Salem, which is back behind the custom house. Those are original. But this is the sort of thing that the weighers would use when cargo comes in. So actually it works just like a doctor's office scale, except that it's measuring in thousands of pounds instead of 200 pounds. But you would hook the counterweight, the sliding weight, on this arm right here, the thing that looks like a Nike swoosh, and slide it down along until it balances. And at that point, you just read off on the arm how much. The weigher writes it down in his notebook, and then the bags are stenciled with the stencil of the surveyor of the port, the person who's in charge of all this outside stuff. And it's only after that's done that they can actually be removed from the wharf into a warehouse.
Hi, my name is Jeff Johnson. I'm representing the Saugus Iron Works. We have a small pewter casting program here at the Salem Maritime Festival. It's the reason why we have a pewter casting is because we cannot bring the whole Saugus Iron Works here. I'm actually a teacher ranger teacher at the Saugus Iron Works. That we had a grant that we could actually pour iron. We made our own furnace and we pour iron every other weekend at the Saugus Iron Works.
I've actually been coming to this site for 60 years, and I think I've been coming to the Maritime Festival for the beginning, and it just gets better and better every year. This is one of the best takes in the city. I'm surprised I don't see more Salem people here. But at any rate, this site in itself gets better and better every year too. I can remember when there wasn't any such thing as the Friendship. I can remember it being built. There were a group of volunteers that did raise some money and did some work, and I guess is still doing some work.
Nikki, and I'm studying to be an archaeologist, and what I really like to do is look at archaeology from the colonial period. So I'm standing in front of the Narbonne House right now that dates to 1675, and people lived here all the way up until the 1960s. So there's a lot of cool archaeology to be found here. Some of the interesting questions that I get asked is, what is the best thing that you've ever found on the wharfs or at Salem Maritime? And some of my favorites include bricks, which sound pretty boring, except for the fact that bricks can tell you a lot of information about the buildings in Salem and how they might have maybe fallen off of the wharf, or a brick may have fallen into the water, all sorts of things like that. As well as when we find pieces of shoe leather. Shoes are pretty cool to find because you can tie them to a person. Someone wore these shoes, which is really interesting to be able to say. And we find those a good amount from time to time on the wharfs when they wash up. Also, what my absolute favorite thing to find at Salem Maritime is when we find pieces of porcelain that may wash up on the beach. And the reason why I like to find porcelain is because it came all the way from China, and Salem's ships were traveling from Salem to China during the 1800s. So some of this porcelain washing up might be almost 200 years old, and that's what makes my job really awesome.
All right, we're standing in the second floor of the U.S. Custom House in Salem, Massachusetts. This was the center of collecting the federal duties on imports, which was how the U.S. government earned its income until the income tax was passed in the 20th century. So these were very important public buildings. Today, with the Salem Maritime Festival, the building is open to the public free of charge. Normally, it's only open a couple times a day by guided tour. This part of the building was not finished until the mid-1850s. The original appropriation, when the building was constructed and opened in 1819, did not have enough money to finish this floor. However, later Nathaniel Hawthorne, who worked in this building as a surveyor of the port in the early 1840s, used the building as a setting for his introduction for the Scarlet Letter. He talked about the custom house and its occupants and mentioned that this floor was totally unfinished. And that information led the citizens of Salem to lobby Congress to get appropriations to finish this building. And that's when the private offices on this floor and the stairs behind me to the cupola, the observation tower, were finally completed.
It is going really well. We have thousands of people here today, and I'd like to thank some of our sponsors. We have the Beverly Co-op Bank, the 1805 Custom House Realty, Dominion Salem Harbor Station, Hawthorne Hotel, Salem State University, and the Pig Next Door, and all the others who contributed to this event. It's really been a successful day, I think, as long as the weather holds out. And I want to thank everybody for coming and all the work the volunteers have done especially. They have really helped us pull this all together. And of course, the employees at National Park Service at Salem Maritime. They're the best.
I've been working here for, I think, 13 years, and I started in '98. We've been having the Maritime Festival since well before then, and this seems to me to be one of the bigger and more successful ones. The weather it's not ideal, there's not bright sun, but every tent has had visitors all day. Looks to me like there have been 100 or more people on board Friendship every day. I'm not actually over there today, but Friendship is my main concern around here. I'm the rigger and acting as the captain for the last couple of years. And she sails. So a big part of our mission is underway, but our biggest mission is dockside. is really getting the message of Salem Maritime, which is, the brief version is that Salem was a financial and social powerhouse in the mid and late 1700s. And our facility here, Derby Wharf and the Customs House and the captain's houses, the Hawks House and the Derby House, really represent the culture and the personalities and the wealth and the trade that were taking place throughout New England during the 17 and early 1800s in Salem. And Friendship, these wharves were the places where the ships would come and go from. They discharged their cargo, and it was that cargo that let Salem participate in world trade, both by importing and exporting, and also by developing a vibrant international culture here in Salem that was also significantly wealth producing. This is the first time that I've seen any type of video media coverage of one of these maritime festivals, and we really appreciate anything that anyone can do to help get the word out about what we do at Salem Maritime and Saugus Iron Works.